Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the 5 p.m. podcast. I'm Tina.
And I'm Dan. And Tina, I've been digging into something that's pretty relevant to, well, everyone. The U.S.-Canada border situation.
Oh, I've heard bits and pieces about this. Something about tariffs being paused?
Exactly. The U.S. president put a hold on those tariffs to give Canada a chance to show they're tackling illegal migration and drug trafficking. It's like a prove-it moment.
So what has Canada been doing? Throwing money at the problem?
They are. $1.30 times billion asterisk dollars, actually. For enhanced border security, think more surveillance, more joint task forces with the U.S.
Wow, that's a significant investment. But does throwing money at it automatically make it better?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? Or, well, the 1.3 times billion time dollar question. We've seen some numbers, like a 60% drop in irregular crossings at the northern border in the last few months of 2024.
Okay, that sounds promising. But what exactly are they doing differently?
Well, a big part of it is this Safe Third Country Agreement, or STCA. They expanded it in March 2023 to cover the asterisk entire times land border, even waterways.
So what does that mean, in plain English?
Basically, if you're seeking asylum, you have to do it in the first safe country you arrive in. So, if you come through the U.S. to Canada, Canada can say, nope, go back to the U.S. and apply there.
I see. And that's reduced asylum claims?
By about 18%, yeah. But, and here's the interesting part, it seems like it's just shifted the problem. There's been a rise in asterisk inland times refugee applications.
So people are finding other ways to get in and asterisk then, times claiming asylum?
Seems like it. It's like squeezing a balloon. You push down in one place, and it bulges out somewhere else.
That makes sense. What about those remote area border crossing permits, the RABC things? I remember hearing something about those.
Right. Those are for people crossing in, like, really remote areas, often for recreation. They extended those permits, which is good for the tourism economy.
But
there are concerns. Some people say the vetting process for those permits isn't strict enough, which could be a security risk.
So it's a trade-off. Economic boost versus potential security loopholes.
Exactly. It's always a balancing act. And then there's the whole fentanyl issue.
Oh, that's a big one. I've seen the headlines. It's devastating.
Yeah, it is. Canada now has a fentanyl czar, a person specifically in charge of coordinating efforts to stop fentanyl from crossing the border.
A czar? That sounds intense.
It is. They're working closely with U.S. agencies, sharing intelligence, trying to track down the precursor chemicals used to make fentanyl.
That sounds like a really tough job.
It is. And it all ties into this bigger picture of increased surveillance at the border, which brings up some ethical questions.
Like what? Privacy concerns?
Exactly. Especially around Indigenous lands. There's been some pushback about surveillance towers and drones near those areas, raising questions about consent and sovereignty.
So it's not just about stopping illegal activity. It's also about respecting people's rights and privacy.
Precisely. It's a complex web of interconnected issues. There's the economic impact, the security concerns, the humanitarian aspect of asylum seekers, and the ethical considerations. It's a lot to unpack.
It sounds like there's no easy answer.
There really isn't. But the fact that both countries are actively working on it, and that we're seeing sometimes positive results, is encouraging.
Definitely. It'll be interesting to see how this evolves over the next few years.
Agreed, and we will be watching closely. Thanks for helping break this down, Tina.
Anytime, Dan. And thanks to all of you for listening. Join us next time on the 5 p.m. podcast.